All right. Thank you, Doris. All right. Welcome everyone to the Act Local Take the Spark Challenge, Volunteer Retention and Recruitment. I shall kick off, presented by the Act Local programme and the Town Team Movement. So briefly introduce myself. My name is Esther Bliss. I'm a Town Team Enabler with the Town Team Movement. I work in the Enthusiasm and Fun division as an engagement dynamo. I'm involved in a few community groups. The next, what you're about to see an image of me is when it can all go very wrong using ChatGPT for a headshot. There you go. Yeah. Those of you who don't actually know what I look like, I certainly don't look like that, even on a good day. But anyway, so there is the dangers of ChatGPT. All right. So the Town Team Movement is an organisation. The four main activities are to inspire, support, connect and promote town teams. There are approximately about 180 of them throughout, well, mainly WA, but we have them interstate, we have them abroad. They're quite a fabulous group of town teams that cover a range of activities and interests. We also provide consulting services. We also work with proactive partners to create impacts with state government departments, REC, main roads, positive partners. And we also deliver in-person online education training on placemaking. We may touch on that later, but yeah, there's really great resources that we have available for you online on our YouTube channel. Okay. So what is the Town Team Movement? So the Town Team Movement basically helps people in communities, businesses and governments to be positive change makers. We inspire and support governments to shift from doing what they consider business as usual, which is doing things to the community or for the community. And what we actually try and encourage them is to do things with or even by the community. That's the ideal. We also look to inspire people. So inspire them to change from passive consumers, as in someone else should be doing that, or why aren't the Shire doing that? That's usually what you hear. We want to change that attitude and mindset to make them more active citizens. And we do that through a lot of our town teams, our conferences, and training. And it really is an amazing network to be involved in. And if you're interested in becoming a town team or you'd like to know more, please do reach out to himself later via email or give us a call and we can chat. All right. We do also have, as Patricia mentioned earlier, we do have a Festival of Doing coming up in May, 7th and 8th of May. It really is a fabulous opportunity to network amongst some of the leading change makers in, I guess, the world. But also, you know, meet like-minded placemakers and doers and active citizens in WA. Oh, look, jump on Humanitics and have a look a bit more at the schedule that we have there. There'll be talks, there'll be hands-on activations. It really is amazing, as well as a very generous travel allowance from Lottery West. And if you're living in the regions, which is, I think, basically 100 k's out of the location, you know, you can get accommodation and travel paid for, but more on that on the website. Okay. Any questions so far from anybody at all before we continue? No. Okay. Right. On today's show, we will be talking about volunteering today. What I see as volunteering today, a lot of things that I have seen and you will no doubt recognise. We're also going to talk about the main character, the main challenge that I've created through work I've seen here at the Town Team Movement and you know, around the traps, and that is basically the Spark Challenge. And then if we have time, we're going to do a quick reverse brainstorming activity, but more on that later. So let's crack on. I've just noticed in this slide, actually about 5 minutes ago, the definition of insanity is, now that's an awkward logo placement there. The definition of insanity is not the town team movement. I just want to make that very clear up front. The definition of insanity actually is doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results. So we're here today to talk about volunteer retention and recruitment. And basically what we see is a lot of community groups trying to attract volunteers the same way and it not working, and then thinking, well, we'll really try it again. We'll really improve the poster this time. And they keep doing the same thing. And basically what we've got there, volunteer recruitment looks pretty much like all those empty seats. It's very, very hard. There are a range of reasons why it's got harder, and I won't get into that. That's another presentation. But really this presentation I'm giving here today is to maybe nudge you into considering that there are better and more simple ways to attract volunteers, something a little bit different. So what I blame a lot on for the current state of play in volunteering recruitment is what I call the 4 horsemen of the committee apocalypse. Them being roles of president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. So many, if not, I don't know the percentage, but I would say the majority of volunteer groups, whether they be formal or informal, have some form of these roles. And I'll get into later why these are an issue, but I'm sure that you can recognize president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer as 4 horsemen. And by all means, refer them in future as those things. Some of the worst recruitment ideas that I have ever seen are, and you'll recognize these, I'm sure, is posters or call outs for volunteers that aren't really clear. So they'll not be clear about what kind of help they need. So come and do something, but we don't know what it is. And we're not going to tell you what it is. You're just going to turn up. So you don't know what you're signing up for. And in fact, we don't know when we want you. So be on call. And we actually don't know how long we want you for. So, just be ready. We might explain stuff, but we might not. And if you'd like to send us a message, there's no guarantee we'll get back to you because nobody actually checks the emails anyway. So I'm sure you've seen some of those when you're trying to get involved with some group and you don't even know where they are. And none of that really sparks interest, does it? Let's face it. The other recruitment ideas I've seen in posters quite often are volunteers wanted. Come and meet a group of strangers alone. Come and meet us in a pub on your own, or better still, come to our clubhouse, but definitely come alone. No skills are required, obviously, but we'll take absolutely anyone. No training provided. You'll just have to figure it out, unless you'll be supervised by an unwelcoming expert. We've all met those, and any new ideas or initiative are strictly discouraged. So although these seem very extreme, they are very common recruitment strategies of volunteer groups. And you know what? They don't seem to be working. But I've got some ideas that you might want to adopt. During the Act Local programme, which is helping community groups throughout the wheat belt, quite often when people hear that there is a service for them, the first thing they ask for is a cupboard of volunteer robots. That's what they want. Just people. We just need people. And quite frankly, I haven't got any. So I created the Spark Challenge. Spark Challenge is a series of micro, deliberate actions designed to generate interest, awareness, or engagement for your group. Now, the reason that they are a Spark Challenge is that they are very small. Some of the slides I'm going to go through, you might firsthand dismiss, but they are very simple for a reason, because they don't take a lot of effort. But if anybody has read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, the concept is very simple. You make atomic habits that are small to change, but over time, the compound interest gives you a large reward. So if you think of it like a ship, you might change the course of a ship by merely a few degrees. But in the course of the journey, where you end up is a lot further away from where you would have been if you hadn't made that change. So basically the Spark Challenge, they may seem like, some colourful slides or a little bit silly, but these slides, these ideas actually work, and they're very, very simple. And you'd be surprised how many community groups don't do them when it could make a significant difference to their recruitment. Okay, so let's crack on. The first one. As a community group, are you playing hide and seek? So I would imagine the majority of community groups that we have online and viewing this wouldn't be looking to advertise for volunteers on TikTok, not unless you want 10 to 15-year-olds. So I encourage strongly all community groups to have a Facebook page as a minimum, just a Facebook page. Now, if you don't have a Facebook page, how are people going to find you? I have a local group here in Northern. I won't say who they are, but they don't have a community group. They don't have a Facebook page. And it's actually very hard to find out how to get hold of them, even though I'm always hearing that they need volunteers. You have to actually phone the Shire, and the Shire will either give you one of two numbers. One works and one doesn't. But you really have to be quite determined to help them because you can't find them. So as a community group, I would consider having a Facebook page. There are ways to set up it so that you can record and enter automatic messages so that people are prompted for when do you meet? And you can quite easily put that answer quite clearly. So it doesn't take a lot of work, but you know what? If you get a unicorn, as I call new volunteers, if you get a unicorn walking through just by the fact that you've updated your phone number on your Facebook page, then surely that little small change is worth doing. So yeah, Facebook page as a minimum, because a lot of community groups are playing hide and seek with potential volunteers. Okay. The next slide we've got here is maybe it's time to update that email. I looked through the local directory for the community groups, and although I didn't see smoothdude63@hotmail.com, I certainly saw a few cheeky little emails there that maybe could be updating with a Northern Theatre Group @gmail.com instead, for example. So look at the email that you're using for your community group, and maybe it's worth updating to a Gmail account. Now, I have borrowed a few slides from a colleague. I have seamlessly put them into my presentation. I will be surprised if you notice them, but moving on, this is one of them. Here we go. So I would say it's very simple to create a Gmail account for your community group. It gives a lot more confidence, I guess, when people are trying to email you than smoothdude63@hotmail. Gmail is free. You can give multiple people access to your Gmail account, so you're spreading the load. Get to that later. When you're sending emails out, you use that, you CC yourself, so you have a paper trail, and it really is a lot easier than having Doris keeping all the emails on her own personal account, on her own personal computer. I know technology can be a little scary, but if you can move towards using a shared Gmail account, it will make your life a whole lot easier. You're not relying on one person, and you're much more likely to retain anyone who's doing emails and stuff like that. You can also, as I say here, set up auto forwarding to help remind you to check it regularly as well. So like that as a minimum, a Gmail account. Gmail also provides a Google Drive, again, which is in the cloud, but it's not too scary. It means that you can store all your documents there. Again, it's not being kept on one computer, or you have one gatekeeper of all the information. You're sharing it amongst your group, which shares the load, and can just be, there's no gatekeepers, and nobody's asking where is they can actually find it themselves. So highly recommended the use of technology. Very, very simple and not scary at all. The next slide in the Spark Challenge is the Don't You Know Who I Am? What this is about, to attract new volunteers to your group, you need to be known. You need to make sure that you're introducing yourself when you go to any meetings or Shire or whenever, just socially, you go, hi, I'm Esther from the Northern Town team. You need to make sure that you are the name, or rather your group is the name that people are recommending and they think about when they meet new people to town, for example, and they say, oh, I really want to get involved in, such and such. And it's like, oh, you want to talk to so-and-so. So promote your group shamelessly. The envelope there, go to the opening of an envelope. I'm sure there'll be someone in your group that would love to go to the opening of an envelope. In the Northern Town team, it's actually me, funnily enough. But I do introduce myself, and we wear the T-shirts with the logo on. If we're doing any work, we have a call flute sign that we put up with the logo of our group. We write a free column in the local paper. So it's all about self-promotion. It's all about self-promotion, or rather, for the group. It's just getting your name out there as much as possible, because the more you're seen, the more visible you are, the more likely you are to attract people to your tribe. All right. The next point in the Spark Challenge is changing your language. This is essential for attracting new people to your group. So you just want to get rid of the word volunteer, basically. Make it active citizen or helper. We don't refer to a committee. If you say volunteer and committee to people, they will run for the hills. But if you say our group, our team, our tribe, or whatnot, they're much more likely to step forward. People just switch off as soon as you say the word active, volunteer or committee. We don't ask for help. We ask people to get involved. We don't put rosters. We just ask people to join the action and be part of it. So it's changing the language that you use when you talk about your group. Genuinely, the word volunteer will turn people off. So just if you can remember the small changes that you might make, is just mind your language. Change how you talk about your group to make it more attractive to people. This is my favorite. This is Barbara. Nobody wants to be treasurer, Barbara. I actually have a T-shirt with this on, and every time I wear it, people want to know where they can buy the T-shirt. And that's usually a volunteer, active citizen group. But this slide, no one wants to be a treasurer, Barbara, is about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and how I just really, I feel like it's a personal campaign to make people aware that you do not need these roles in your group, whether formal or informal. Model rules, whether you're associated or not. Basically, most groups have developed as the 4 horsemen, the 4 roles of president, secretary, treasurer, and vice president. And trying to recruit for those positions is so hard. And that's what lends to the no one wants to be treasurer, Barbara. So if you can change your group, change your language, change your mentality away from those 4, and in fact, change it to something that on the next slide I refer to as an eldership model, or a much more shared, relaxed model, you will find recruiting for your group so much easier. Now, the model rules currently for an incorporated group do refer to those 4 positions. Here they are: chairperson, deputy chair, and secretary and treasurer. But, and this blows people's minds, that is not mandatory. You do not need those 4 positions. You can change those 4 positions and get to that. But even in an informal group, if you can change your mindset to sharing the roles and taking away from just 4 or just 5 people, finding someone to just help is a lot easier. So the Northern Town team is an incorporated body, and we don't have the 4 horsemen. We have a chief shenanigator, we have a vice princess, we have moneybags, and then we have gossip queen, and also good with computers. Now, we also have a woman who is in the group who just processes second payments. That's all she does. So, and you might think, oh, well, you've just changed the labels. But when I say money bags, that's just the money bags group. We have 3 or 4 people that do various things that would be seen as being traditional treasurer roles, but it's not one person. It's a group of people. It's shared responsibilities. Oops, sorry, bad way. So what you've got there, the traditional committee structure is, your 4 main people. And then quite often the workload is just those 4, and it gives people the excuse to just step away and, oh, well, that's the secretary's job, or that's the treasurer's job, instead of what the Northern Town team and many other town teams have, which is an eldership model where the committee or the group, and there's 10 of us, it's called Greg, actually, Group of Responsible Enthusiastic Go-Getters. What we have is a shared responsibility for us all, which is a lot easier to attract people to our group, because we say, oh, well, okay, we're not looking for a treasurer, we just like you to join our group. And then we have a catch up. We might have 4 official meetings, because that's the only 4 that we need in our incorporated rules. But we have catch ups, and we might ask, well, can you process second payments, or can you just put up posters, or would you take the minutes for this meeting? You're the gossip queen. So think about changing the style of language, and think about changing the style of your group as well. And again, sorry. So this is actually in our constitution here, the eldership model, that a joint responsibility among committee members for the running of the group. And like I say, you don't have to be incorporated to do this. You can change the model of your informal group as well. And if you would like to know further information about this, please do reach out. But it really is a game changer for community groups that adopt this, even informally, and share the responsibilities. Nobody does want to be treasurer, without a doubt. And so this is the structure of the Northern Town team. We have 10 people, and that can change. People drop in and out depending on how busy they are, and that's okay. So we have a group of Greg here. Then we might have our members, our financial members. That's another presentation on how we attract those financial members here. And then we have our supporters. So these are people who obviously support us, but also if we're doing a particular project, we know that they will step in and be interested to help. And there's another slide I'll get to on that. And then we have our friends who step in and help, but say, oh, no, I'm not really in the town. I'm not in the town team. But we consider them to be friends of the town team. So it's been a game changer. And it really is very, very simple, but it's not scaring people by them thinking it's not professional. It's fun with serious intent, but it really will help your group. Try it. Okay, enough of that. We'll get on to just peel the carrots. So this slide is about micro volunteering. I don't even like that word really. Just peel the carrots is about breaking down what you want your group to do into very micro tasks. So I don't know, 2J, if you recognize this lady here in the slide. It's gone on and off, that's okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Lots well. Yep.
Oh, she's amazing, isn't she? I'd heard about her before I met her. So Roz, and you forgive me a bit of poetic license in my description, please. So Roz runs a group, 2J Locals Care. She makes meals. One of the things that she does is she makes meals for people over there that need a little bit of extra help. And Roz has an enormous, I think, I'll finish that sentence. She has an enormous group of volunteers, or rather people that help her. And the way that she does it is through micro volunteering. She just asks people to peel the carrots. So people aren't put off by that. They just know that that's the role. So instead of what can I do to help? Well, could you come could you come on Saturday at 9? Or just turn up on Saturday at 9 and we'll get you doing stuff, which is, let's face it, the way that a lot of community groups would operate. But she says, no, can you come at 9 just for an hour and just peel the carrots? And so she's been specific about when she wants you, how long you're going to be there, and what you're going to do. So you know that you can leave at 10 o'clock. You know that when you've peeled those carrots, you can leave. You don't even have to come back. And that's been her success. She makes it very easy and very upfront about what she needs people to do. I'm sure she said to people, can you peel the carrots? And they say, oh, I don't have time. She'll bring you the carrots. That's how simple it can be. And so if you break down those jobs, those roles in your group, say, for example, you're doing a barbecue, you're doing a fundraiser, and well, we need people for help. Well, think about when you're rostering or making up your plan, instead of saying to people, oh, we need you there, start at 9 and markets finish at about 2. Why don't you try just breaking it down into, oh, we just need someone, we need someone for just an hour, if you can just do an hour. And then get more people to do just an hour. Northern Town team, we've had a lot of success doing this, rather than asking people for big jobs and big responsibilities with endless hours. You go, well, could you just do an hour? Or we do need more, but if you can just do an hour, and therefore people that's why we have such a large circle of supporters, because we don't overcommit people, we don't burn them out, we don't say you've got to come every time. We just put the shout out, can you do an hour? And that's why our circle of supporters is so very large, because we just ask small things. And that is what Ros does. She's amazing. So in terms of what you get your people to do, like I said, we have a woman who just processes second payments. She wants to be part of the group, of the Northern Town team. She wants to be part of the group. And so she has a job of just processing second payments. That's all she does. Now, if she didn't have that job, she would probably, and she said, she'd feel quite guilty about not doing anything, and so she wouldn't actually be part of the group. So by getting her to do something small, she's contributing, she feels valued and appreciated. And we publicly appreciate her. That's what we do. It's all part of the, do you know who I am? Our social media is quite often full of thanking the people who've helped us, which again attracts more people to our tribe, because people are, wow, I want to be part of that. That group really looks after its volunteers. And it might be, dismissed as, oh, well, it's just a thank you. People appreciate that. You have to appreciate your volunteers and your people. It doesn't have to be huge gestures, but just we did a post about Anita. What Anita does is she goes out most Sundays and waters 10 planter boxes on the main street. Now, she wouldn't consider herself part of the Northern Town team. We consider her to be part of it, but she's one of our supporters. And, we posted up a post about her and why she does it and stuff like that. And you know what? We had 3 people reach out to us and say, oh, I could probably water them one week if you want. For the sake of what? We didn't have to put a poster out wanting volunteers or, come and meet us at our clubhouse. We just acknowledged Anita, and then people came to us saying, oh, I could probably do that. And that wasn't the intent, but that was part of what happened. So yeah, acknowledge your people. So yeah, as part of your circles of genius for your group, we've got the carrot peelers. Think about people who just update Facebook or just print posters, just check the emails, just have a ute and a trailer. So we know that we can call on them. So the Town Team movement actually has a great slide here. It's called Potential Roles in a Town Team, or Potential Roles, really. I think, Dean, you may have created this one. Yes. Yeah, and so this is about looking at different roles within a group. So we've got here the knowledge holders, the dreamers, the inspirers, and every single role is important. Whether you're leading a project or maybe you're just being cheerleaders and supporting. I mean, we have a lot of supporters who just comment on our posts because we've told them that helps the algorithm. And that's all they need to do to feel part of it. and they do feel part of it. And I think that's so important these days. And again, that is another presentation on feeling part of a group and connecting. But yeah, giving people these small roles and acknowledging them and appreciating them is really, really important, and moving away from, you know, those four structured kind of positions. And this is proven to work. It really does. It's not overnight, like you're not going to get a cupboard of volunteer robots, absolutely not. But what you will do, there will be a slow drip feed of people who become supporters of your group. But it does take time, certainly. So this is the Grow Your Tribe to Thrive theory. What we have here is, well, if you think of a butcher does not advertise to vegans. Well, I don't think they do, not unless they're a vegan butcher. So what this theory is if you want to increase your tribe or your group, you need to attract them and not waste energy in calling out for everybody, because that's not really going to work. There's two sides to this. So if you are, for example, a soccer club, and they need, they're always screaming out for more volunteers, and, you know, come meet us at the local pub and, you know, volunteer and help us, you know, not clear about what they want to do, but come along anyway. I've actually helped them and said, well, look at the people you already have in your group. Look at your tribe. Where do they come from? And they've said, oh, well, they're parents and da, da, da. And I've gone, well, that's what you need to do. You need more players. You need to attract more players to your group, and your players will bring more parents, which will increase your pool of potential helpers. So stop putting out posters wanting volunteers, because you know, somebody comes and volunteers to help and they have no connection with the club. It's a bit weird, is it not? I don't know. But you'll have much more success if you start to build up your players, which brings more parents, which will bring a pool of helpers. The other side to this is looking at people who can only take small roles. But yeah, growing your tribe to thrive is finding your people and finding ways to encourage them to be part of your group. Finding their problems. I mean, in sales, they do this. If you want to sell someone something, you tell them what problem they have and how you can fix it. So if you think of new people to town, their problem is they don't know anyone and they'd like to meet someone. They'd like to meet people. So your community group, when you're looking to recruit, you might solve that problem of come and meet new people. You might look at attracting retired people, for example, and saying, come and learn new skills. So look at the kind of people you want to attract and consider how you can solve their problems, as well as making sure you're attracting, or rather putting your energy into attracting the right kind of people, rather than wasting on you know, big sponsored ad and poster, you know, numerous posters of just will accept anyone. So look at how you can attract your tribe, grow your tribe to thrive. So now I'm just going to, first of all, I just want to throw the floor open and ask if anyone has any questions at all.
Do you have any questions? No? Okay. Yeah, not at this stage, thank you.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, this is a tactic that you can use. I call it reverse brainstorming. Dean, would you mind sharing what's the other name? Because you call it something else. I can't remember what it was.
Well, you can call it whatever you like, really, in the spirit of this webinar, but design it to fail, I think, is another one too. So you're actually, instead of trying to design or produce a perfect plan, you're trying to make it as bad as possible.
Yes, excellent. Yeah, that is exactly what this is. Yeah, so I'm introducing to you all the concept of what I call reverse brainstorming. So we've got goldfish there, all swimming in a lovely direction. What you have there is a goldfish that's actually swimming in the opposite direction, upside down, and a funny color. So reverse brainstorming is when you have a problem and you're trying to fix it, but you're quite often coming up with the same solutions, the same old tired solutions that you've always done. So, for example, the problem might be, oh, we're really struggling to get more volunteers. Right, how are we going to solve this? And you basically churn out the same old, I'm sure it has something to do with the brain's synapses and, predictable kind of answers and stuff. But a reverse brainstorming is the first thing is you define the problem. And I will be sending out everyone a little worksheet on this as well. To help you go through it. So first thing, you define your problem. Then what you do is you make it worse instead of making it better. So you come up with there's no bad ideas. How can we, instead of retain volunteers, how can we actually make it worse? So I know, let's ignore all new volunteers. So if anybody turns up, let's completely ignore them. And you know what? That happens a lot anyway. So let's make the roles confusing. Let's not return emails. Let's delete our Facebook page. What else we could do? Oh, I'm sure you can come up with classics. And yeah, we might spend a couple of minutes doing that in a moment. After you've made it worse, and you go through the whole list, you try and exhaust as many things as you can. You then flip it. You flip the thinking. So for all those really terrible ideas, you flip them into a better idea. So instead of ignoring new volunteers, do you know what? If someone comes to a catch-up or a meeting, instead of ignoring them, let's actually acknowledge them and welcome them. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Instead of not returning emails, why don't we make sure that we just have one person whose only job is to follow up with those emails? Or make it one person's job maybe to, you are the new volunteer welcomer. I know I haven't got time to think of a silly title, but I'm sure I'll come up with something. So you've made them worse, and then you flip those ideas. And what you will find is you will come up with things that you wouldn't have thought of if you were just defining the problem and trying to fix it. Do actually come up with great ideas. And then the next stage is obviously prioritizing those ideas. And most importantly here is taking action. You don't have to do them all at the same time, but prioritize them and think what would be the most effective and, just allocate them. And I think we've learned if we don't allocate them to just one person, we spread them around, don't we? So that is reverse brainstorming. So I do think we have a few minutes spare. So could we maybe just spend 3 minutes thinking of some terrible ideas? Maybe write them down on a piece of paper. I'll just give you a couple of minutes. Even if you can just come up with one terrible idea about how to recruit, or rather not recruit, new volunteers. I would love to hear some great or terrible ideas. I haven't got any background music, I'm afraid. But next time I will. So I'm just trying to think of some terrible ideas myself. I know. Let's meet at let's make work during working hours. That'd be a good one. Let's
Do you have any tips for making meetings fun, Esther?
Yeah, I think the environment. I think definitely. Yeah, if it depends on where you're meeting is always a big decision to make, and I think it really sets the scene. To make it fun, I guess it depends, because I think with these things you have to make sure that people know that they don't have to do it. Like I know, for example, a lot of the Northern team would love to come dressed as their favorite rock star, but it might not appeal to everyone, and I'm very conscious of that. So yeah, there are lots of kind of different ways, I guess, but I just guess not taking yourself too seriously, really. But yeah, I can't think any of them from my head at the moment. Yeah, here we go. All
I
right.
read a book and they talked about an annual general mayhem.
Oh, right. Yes. There you go. That sparked what I was going to say. Yeah, we, the Northern Town team actually, we had our AGM, and there's nothing to say that you can't have your AGM as a progressive dinner. But we thought dinner was too much, so we just had it as a progressive snacks AGM. So the other thing we threw in was a silent disco in between locations, which was entirely optional, obviously. And we had quite a lot of people turn up for that, which was good. So yeah, we had a progressive snacks AGM with silent disco. Optional, obviously, but yeah, that worked quite well. So it's, yeah, not taking stuff seriously. Now I've seen in the chat. All right. Okay, so we'll start with those terrible ideas. So thank you for, is it Anuska? Advertise that regular meetings will go for 4 hours with no set agenda. Fantastic. If we were to flip that, I think obviously, can anybody suggest something how we would flip that?
I think that's what you just said. Make
Yeah.
it good, fun, and
Mm.
really, yeah, to the point.
Yeah, absolutely. Or not even advertise that you have regular meetings. Just make it your inner circle. They're the only ones that know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So yeah, advertise regular meetings go for 4 hours and no set agenda. Brilliant. Yeah, so obviously make sure you're very clear on how long it's going to take. In fact, the Northern Town team, when we meet, we have 2 starting times. We have, say, for example, a 5:30 start time for those that want to chat. And then we have a 6 o'clock starting time for getting on with it. Because you can imagine things do sort of go on a little bit. But if we get the chat out of the way, it means we can just bang on with the agenda. And then, you know, there's no kind of side conversation. So that's obviously a good one. Here we go, Pat. Do you want to explain yours?
Yes, so asking volunteers to not only contribute their time, but also bring with them all necessary supplies or equipment. An example can be cleanup day, asking them to bring rubbish bags, gloves, water, anything, you know, may be needed, except like, for example, providing it and making it easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, you see that, don't you? You see that. You want to make it as simple as possible for your helpers. And yeah, getting them to bring their own supplies, equipment. Yeah, obviously, yeah, it's going to be a big, I can't be bothered, or I can't be, yeah, whatever. But yeah, no, good one. Has anyone else anything they want to contribute? Any ideas? Anyone, 2J there?
I can have one more.
Yeah, go.
I think asking advertising volunteer opportunity, doing same work every week or twice a week for a duration of 12 months.
Oh, yes, that commitment, that AGM commitment of treasurer for, you know, the full 12 months. That's what you'll do. You're tied in, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing next week. Don't ask me to be treasurer for a year. No, completely agree. So yeah, being yeah, flexible with what you're asking people to do, and yeah, realizing that everyone has you know, buckets of time up their sleeve. Yeah. Okay. Any others anybody else had anything to add? No. Okay. Well, we will swim on. Well, I did that. Swim on. So we basically flipped bad ideas into good ones. Here we go. So yeah, we've got things here like you know, time. If you want to really put people off, don't put any time on how long you want them to help. Time will go on forever. What do you want them to do? Oh, don't tell them, just, you know, they've got to guess, they've got to look in a crystal ball. Everyone's anonymous, nobody knows your name. When you volunteered for the group, it's a handcuff arrangement. We actually say quite loudly with the Northern Town team, it is not a handcuff arrangement. You can drop in and out as much, as little, and do as much or as little as you want. And we certainly don't like piles of paperwork. We try and do with as much as possible and keep it as informal, but you know, obviously adhering to all the regs and things that we need to do. But yeah, keeping it simple because some people like that, and if you find one of those, fantastic. But it may not attract you new helpers to your group. Okay, well look, that's pretty much the end of my presentation on the Spark Challenge. I hope that you've felt you've gathered a little bit of insight or a little bit of some ideas on how to help your group in attracting and retaining your existing helpers. I do have, there is a little survey I will be sending out to you. It's very, very short. If you could fill that in and give your feedback, that helps us improve our services and webinars. Yeah, it's a great continuous improvement cycle for us to do. But are there any questions? Anybody have any questions about any of the things I've mentioned or not mentioned today?
No questions here from 2J, but just thank you very much, Esther. That was really valuable, and Judy and I just having conversation here about some of the local situation. So thank you.
Yeah, no, great. And yeah, I am the Act Local program is in the Wheat Belt, and I'm the coordinator of that. So I would love to catch up maybe sometime with you. I've been over to the 2JCLC, but I'd love to catch up with you anytime.
Yeah, perhaps our sort of exec manager left us this last week, and we're in between recruitment periods again. But we'll, as a team, still would love to have you come out and have a chat with us and explore a bit more what you do, for sure.
Excellent. And I think, sorry, go on.
Sorry, and Esther, this webinar recording will be available on Act Local website together with other webinars and resources. Is it right?
Yes, that's right. And yeah, the poster that I sent email to you, yeah, that shows all the different presentations and webinars that we've got coming up as well. So yeah, no, that's great. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to turn the record off because I sure you want to stop. Yes.